The 2024 WNBA draft pulled in 2.45 million viewers. That's 4 times more people than watched the entire 2023 finals. Arenas that couldn't sell 3,000 tickets 2 years ago are now packed at over 17,000 fans, with seats going for more than $1,000. Merchandise sales jumped 756%. Stores literally ran out of inventory mid-season. Something fundamentally shifted in women's basketball, and if you think it's just about one player or one moment, you're missing the actual story. This explosion has been building for years, and what's happening right now is way bigger than anyone predicted. Start with the numbers, because they're absolutely wild. The 2024 season became the most watched in 24 years, attracting 54 million unique viewers across every network. 22 different games averaged over 1 million viewers each, something that never happened before in league history. Attendance jumped 48%, with arenas averaging 9,807 fans per game compared to 6,615 the year before. The league recorded 154 sellouts versus 45 the previous season. That's a 242% increase. A single regular season game in Washington drew 20,711 fans after they moved it to an NBA arena. 4 different teams, Washington, Atlanta, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles, had to relocate their games against Indiana to massive NBA venues just to accommodate ticket demand. And they still sold out. WNBA League Pass subscriptions exploded by 366%. All-Star voting hit 10 million ballots, a 538% jump from 2023. The most insane stat? The pregame show in 2024 averaged more viewers than actual WNBA games did in 2023. The league didn't just grow, it detonated. But here's where it gets interesting. Critics said 2024 was a fluke, a temporary spike that would crash back to reality. Then 2025 happened. Viewership climbed another 21% from the record-breaking previous year. Caitlin Clark, the player everyone credited for the boom, missed 13 games due to injury. Ratings kept climbing anyway. Games without Clark saw a 37% viewership increase, proving this wasn't just about one superstar. The Golden State Valkyries debuted as the league's 13th team with 10,000 season ticket holders, and only 4% of them overlapped with Warriors fans. That's an entirely new audience. Opening weekend 2025 saw 89% of arenas at capacity. Total ticket sales jumped 26% despite adding another team. TV ratings increased 23% across all networks. The league announced expansion plans to 18 teams by 2030, with 3 franchises paying $250 million each, 5 times what the Valkyries paid just 2 years earlier. This wasn't a bubble. This was sustainable growth that nobody saw coming. The 2024 rookie class deserves massive credit for sparking the fire. The NCAA Women's Championship between Iowa and South Carolina beat the men's title game in viewership. Caitlin Clark finished her college career as the all-time leading scorer in Division I history. Her rivalry with Angel Reese, born from a viral taunt in the 2023 championship, created must-watch television. The Iowa-LSU rematch drew 18.7 million viewers, numbers that made networks rethink everything they knew about women's sports. When draft night came, Clark, Reese, Cameron Brink, and Camila Cardoso entered the league with social media followings and NIL deals that veteran players spent years building. Clark's Fever debut hit over 2 million viewers, the highest for any WNBA game in decades. Every Fever Sky matchup became the most watched game of the year on whatever network aired it. Clark alone accounted for 26.5% of all WNBA economic activity. Merchandise, tickets, television revenue, everything. Fever home games went from averaging 4,000 fans to over 17,000. But reducing this to just Clark misses the bigger picture. Reese shattered the league's consecutive double-double record. Paige Bucher's 2025 debut kept momentum building. These rookies brought entire fan bases with them, armies of social media followers who'd been watching them since high school. Then came the media rights gold rush that changed the financial landscape forever. The WNBA secured a $2.2 billion media deal running through 2036, the largest in women's sports history. That number could hit $3 billion, with additional partners jumping in. ESPN, NBC, and Amazon all committed massive money, with the deal kicking in for the 2026 season. ESPN averaged 1.2 million viewers in 2024, a 170% increase from the year before. Ion Network saw viewership jump 133%, with 50% of its audience being women aged 18 to 49. 6 different networks, ESPN, ESPN2, ABC, CBS, Ion, and NBA TV, each recorded their most watched WNBA game ever. The league expanded internationally to 207 countries and territories. Canada saw viewership spike 148%, which led directly to Toronto getting an expansion franchise for 2026. New distribution deals covered the UK, Taiwan, China, Brazil, and the Philippines. Networks that ignored women's basketball for decades suddenly couldn't write checks fast enough. What most people don't understand is that the foundation for this explosion was laid years before Clark's draft. The 2020 season, played in a pandemic bubble, saw all 144 players dedicate the year to Breonna Taylor and social justice. They wore her name on jerseys. They partnered with the Say Her Name campaign. They built a fan base of people who wanted athletes that stood for something beyond sports. When Atlanta Dream players campaigned against their own senator owner Kelly Loeffler, forcing her out and helping elect Raphael Warnock, it sent a message. These women don't compromise. The league supported reproductive rights activism, voting campaigns, and LGBTQ+ advocacy, while critics claimed it would kill their audience. Instead, it grew. Fans gravitated toward authenticity and courage. The 2025 All-Star Game protest, where every player wore "Pay Us What You Owe Us" shirts, went viral not because it was controversial, but because people respected the solidarity. The players built a league that never apologized for its values, and that foundation created the kind of passionate fan base that doesn't disappear when one star gets injured. The perfect storm ingredients came together at exactly the right moment. The NCAA pipeline finally started paying off after years of investment in women's college basketball. Social media created stars before they ever went pro. High school highlights, AAU tournaments, and college games building massive followings. NIL deals made players marketable and financially stable before their first WNBA paycheck. Tunnel fashion turned pregame walks into cultural moments that rivaled any red carpet. The audience shifted younger and more diverse, with viewership among people of color jumping 60%. Hispanic fans increased 96%, black fans 67%, under 35 viewership spiked 124%. Young girls watching grew by 139%. The broader women's sports boom, soccer, golf, tennis, created momentum that lifted all leagues. Post-pandemic audiences were hungry for live events and authentic experiences. Streaming services made games accessible everywhere, not just in local markets. Every factor aligned perfectly, and the WNBA was ready to capitalize. Critics got almost everything wrong. They said nobody watches women's sports, destroyed by 54 million unique viewers. They claimed it was just a Caitlin Clark bump that would fade, disproven when 2025 ratings climbed without her. Non-fever games jumped 37% despite her missing half the season. Multiple stars emerged to carry the load. Aja Wilson put up a record-breaking season with 26.9 points per game, 1,021 total points, and 451 rebounds, all single-season records. She became the first player ever to lead the league in points, rebounds, and blocks in the same year. The talent depth across the league showed up in sold-out arenas from coast to coast. The Valkyries' instant success proved market expansion worked. Players' union negotiations for revenue sharing gained public support instead of backlash. The minimum salary of $66,000 is about to change dramatically when the new CBA hits. Investment money is following the eyeballs, and everyone who said women's basketball couldn't sustain growth is scrambling to explain how they missed it. This wasn't luck. It wasn't coincidence. It definitely wasn't just one player. The WNBA explosion is the result of decades of groundwork finally paying off at the exact moment when talent, timing, values, and visibility aligned. The 2026 media deal kicks in next year, bringing billions of dollars that will transform player salaries and league operations. The women who fought for respect while playing overseas for triple their WNBA money are about to get paid what they're worth. Expansion teams are printing money. International audiences are tuning in by the millions. The foundation is solid, the momentum is real, and the future is brighter than anyone imagined. The WNBA didn't suddenly get good. People finally started watching, and now that they're here, they're not leaving.